Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Sit, 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 sit. So where were we? Vishesh. What is the definition of Padarth? Real. Oh, perfect. Very good. What are the dravyas? Substance. What are dravya? In that which is in which quality and action inhere. अच्छा तुमने बोला था इनहेर नहीं बोला ना सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट टर्म क्या है यहाँ पे इनहेर हाँ okay what are the different kinds of dravyas so in this materialistic dravya are for 4 atoms and ether. Ether is also materialistic. Huh? And soul की क्या qualities होती है? Unconscious and inactive. And consciousness is the accidental quality. Perfect. Perfect. Ether is accepted as substratum of sound. Now sound can be perceived. Now sound, sunte hai na? Sound is perceived. This means that when sound is not the property of air, earth, fire and water, there must be something else which must be carrying the sound. Nyaya has accepted it as ether. Now ether is many or one? One. Okay. Infinite. Yes, infinite. Very good. Perfect. Then second is gun. What is a gun? Quality. That inhere in a substance which is independent, which can be independently thought and named and is a real. इसीलिए उसको पदार्थ अलग से माना है. What else? Non-constitutive. Existence is not dependent on gun. Okay. Then? Material and mental. ठीक है. Material qualities, mental qualities. Fine. What else? It is not responsible for conjunction and disjunction. Okay, what else? हो गया. अगर सुन रहे होते तो सुनते. हाँ. What else? Static and permanent feature of a substance. 24 qualities accepted by Vaisheshika. Example? Mental qualities like? Okay. Pain, pleasure, etc. Ma'am, what does it mean by abhav is eternal and belongs to many things, but it is not universal? So, abhav, when we will do abhav, it will become clear. है ना? Abhav cannot be universal because universal means कुछ होना चाहिए ना कहीं पर होगा ना universal. Abhav is negation. We will do abhav. Abhav is a separate category. ठीक है? Apart from this, then karm. What is the karm? Action is a okay, fine. What are the various types of karma? ठीक है. What are perceptible and imperceptible karma? Ordinary karma are perceptible and karma as a stock is or adrishट is imperceptible. ठीक है, fine. कुछ भी क्या कर्म अरे वो इम्परसेप्टिबल से कंपेयर करके लिखा है, उसका कर्म में यूज नहीं है. ओके, सामान्य. व्हाट इज द सामान्य? हाँ, what does it mean by action resides in only one substance? Of course, action will reside in only the thing that is moving. If we all are static, standing on the platform, and only thing that is moving is train, so where is the motion? In train. It is not in us. So action will be in the thing that is moving. Okay. There is only one ether, continuous, like space and time. Partless. Atom के जैसा नहीं है. Size से भी मीठी. Atom means small, infinite. Okay. How are you? What to say? Take care of your health, beta. Ma'am, why is it said that time is imperceptible? Because you cannot perceive time as such. You can divide your own durations, but not the time itself. Time कभी perceive होता है? आँख, नाक, कान, मुंह, touch. Can you perceive it by any other thing? No. Therefore, it is imperceptible. It is our own notion of time, which we can, which we use as व्यवहारिक time. We have done this classification of व्यवहारिक time. करी थी ना, कहीं तो करी हमने. व्यवहारिक टाइम और जैनिज्म में करी है. जैनिज्म में करी. परमार्थिक और व्यवहारिक. Yes, yes. Okay. हाँ, करी मेरे को पता है. Okay, fine. हाँ, universal. What is the universal? Who can give me the proper definition of universal or सामान्य? तुम लोग अगर बात ना करो तो शायद जवाब भी दे पाओ. हाँ. What is the definition? अरे तुमसे ही पूछते चलो. हाँ, what is the definition of सामान्य? Something cancel. हाँ, हर्षित. Is this the definition or the substitute word? Yes. The common. बेटा देखो वो पास हो जाएगा. तुम दोनों अपना सोच लो. ठीक है. ऐसे बच्चे है ना, दूसरों से बात कर करके. Okay. Yes, it is a generic concept which is present in a particular example. Smokiness is present in a smoke. Okay. So it is that class concept which is present in all the particulars of that particular class. पढ़ो. कहाँ है इसकी definition? पढ़ लो पहली line. It is the common character of things which fall under the same class. All individuals having the same samanya will have the common characteristics. Example counts. Okay, how many? How can we know samanya? How can we know about samanya? How can we know counts? सामान्य लक्षण, अलौकिक, प्रत्यक्ष, प्रमाण. Okay, and we know it in निर्विकल्प or सविकल्प? सविकल्प. Fine. And can a universal subsist in another universal? No. How many places can you find a universal? All the particulars of that particular class you can find. Okay. Is there any particular, is there any universal for particularity? Ether? Somewhere? Huh? Why is there no universal for ether? There should be more instances. Okay, fine. Classification? बढ़िया परा परापरा अपरा ठीक है. How is Samanya's concept of realism accepted by Nyaya Vaisheshika different from nominalism of Buddhism? Apohavad. Apohavad. What is apohavad? Cow means? Not non-cow. Cow means not non-cow. Okay. It is that name. Ma'am, in Apohavad, if we call both cow and horse as a cow, will they become same? No, Aman. That is what they are saying. That you can call something as cow because it is not anything else. It is not a horse. It is not anything else. That is why you are calling what is different from all others as cow. By perception. You perceive? Memory. The passing of the so when one moment changes into another moment, Shanikvad, it passes the sanskar. There is this impressions are passed on. And what is these impressions that are passed on? So, ma'am, there are 10 cows, which are all having different characteristics of nature. But how do we know that all of them are cows? There must be something which people know that these all dams are. No, that this is what they are saying. This is what Buddhism is saying. It is saying supposedly there are 10 cows. One is white, one is purple. No, not purple. Brown, black, and multi. Chitkabri. Pata hai na Chitkabri cow? So now all of these are cows. Now, according to Buddhism, whatever these things are, whatever these animals are, they will say it is not a horse, it is not a this. Are not horses. They are not saying, सुनते ही नहीं हो. They are आंखें हैं कि बटन. नहीं सुन. Physical features are not class characters. First, secondly, just see that there are some animals. They are not saying they are anything or they are cow, horse, rat. So now they start with, उन्होंने 4 animal देखे. They start with saying not a horse, not this, not this, not this. This means that whatever they knew, it is not this. Then there must be something. Might be something. And they put it with the name cow. So what is a cow? Cow is equal to not non-cow. तो ये जो non-cows हैं, ये नहीं है. उस चीज को इन्होंने क्या कह दिया? Now cow can be white, black, this, then that, because it's not matching with these things. Same with the horse, same with the rat, same with the chair. So the moment you see chair, you see a table to nahi hai. This is not a board, this is not a wall, this is not a man, this is not a this. And therefore, this group is chair.
अगर काउ को जानना है तो नॉट काउ को सारा जाने के हॉर्स को जाने के हॉर्स को जानने के लिए तो और किसी चीज को जानना
हाँ, इसीलिए अपवाद is a controversial and criticized theory. And because why Buddhism has to accept अपवाद? Kshanikvad, they will have to deny the permanence. They cannot accept samanya. They will only have to accept this. उसमें सिर्फ ह्यूमननेस होगी, बॉयनेस, ह्यूमननेस. अब एक ये सब वर्ड्स हैं. पॉटनेस एंड घटकनेस अलग अलग हो गए. क्लासिफिकेशन है, वो तो वर्ड्स है ना. हाँ, that's just the classification. करा था ना, परा परा, विंग विंग विंग, ऐसा ऐसा आ जाएगा यहाँ पे. So it's not inside it. It is just the classification thing. So there will be only one universal according to Nyaya. The same thing will not be acceptable by Plato. When Plato will talk, he will say, an individual will participate in many universes. Okay? Plato's theory is much more reasonable than Nyaya's. Okay? हाँ, क्या? An individual can have multiple universes. It can, but he is confused in that how can a person be both man and human? प्लेटो से समझ आ गया ना. इनको नहीं आया क्योंकि इन्होंने प्लेटो नहीं पढ़ा, लेकिन अभी अटक गए हैं, है ना. तो जब तक अब प्लेटो तो पढ़ाया नहीं जा सकता. So I just have to give him something so that he moves on. है? हाँ. Because he will keep hold full class because of this. ये उसके अंदर नहीं है, उसके अंदर नहीं है ना. तो that is why. तुम्हें समझ में आ गया ना?
highest universal is being good. And for both living things and for both living things and
yes, being means anything. Being means existence. Particular के बिना तो न्याय मानता है कि काऊ है. No. So cowness is, so there are numerous cows, and in each of them there will be cowness, and this cowness in our knowledge is a universe. वो जैनिज्म मानेगा, conceptualism. According to Jainism, every cow had cowness. We saw this cowness, therefore we constructed a mental concept, cowness, in our mind. According to Nyaya, there is a real objective cowness somewhere beyond time and space, and this cowness is also found in individuals. वो फिर भी exist करेगा, like dinosaurness. Even though there are no dinosaurs, but we still understand what is a dinosaur, because there is the dinosaurness. हाँ, तो जो चीज एग्जिस्ट नहीं करती उसका क्यों बनाओगे आप यूनिवर्सल? तो काउनेस क्यों आएगी? जब देखी ही नहीं. अच्छा, एक सेकंड, क्या नीचे करो, अंकित नीचे करो. हाँ. It is a generic concept which is present in particular. अच्छा ये तो हो गया. Ma'am, in अपोहवाद, if we call both cow and horse as, अच्छा ये तो हो गया. Next. नहीं, नीचे करो, सबसे नीचे. Ma'am, as per Buddhism, he has accepted the nominalism. It is true to say that because of the name cow, it is having characters of cow. No, not because of the name, it is having a name cow. It is having a name cow because it is not sharing any characteristics with other things that they know. So, ऐसे समझो, वो वाला गेम खेला है. देखो, बुद्धिज्म का अपोहवाद थोड़ा मुश्किल है ही समझना. Not a problem, but बहुत आसान भी है. If you just understand it with, analogy or any exam. Have you seen those games of shapes, different shapes? है ना? So now a person is, so if you give a child, ke sort karo. Now these circles may be of different shapes, different sizes, and there may be a circle which is a little having a small broken piece also. Okay. Now you sort. Then how do you sort? Circles एक side, triangles, squares, this एक side. And the moment you sort, even though not all circles are similar, you still put them in a group that this is a circle. This is what Buddhism is doing. They are just sorting it out. They are just saying because circle is very much different from a square, therefore these cannot be together. But a circle with a smaller circle is, appearing to be more similar. Therefore, they must be put in a same group. And this group is, they are giving a name, cow. If you are if you are Indian, then you can say go. If you are Russian, you can say gobergo. Whatever you can call it. So name doesn't matter. It's just that we call things by certain name, by grouping them according to our understanding that this is not a this is not a triangle, this is not a square, this is not a spiral, this is not a this, therefore it must be a square. This is apohavad. But of course, apohavad is accepted by Buddhism as a majburi, because they cannot accept samanya. They must accept apohavad. They have no option because their primary philosophy is Kshanikvad. If you people want, I can make you write this in detail. You want? Likho. Likho. How Buddhism rejects universal. According to Buddhism, nothing is permanent and real. According to Buddhism, nothing is permanent and real. Every padarth is swalakshan. Every padarth is swalakshan. Bracket. Having qualities of its own. Having qualities of its own. That is unique. Having qualities of its own, that is unique. Full stop. According to Buddhism, individual alone is real. According to Buddhism, individual alone is real. Therefore, there is no eternal entity like Samanya. Therefore, there is no eternal entity like Samanya. Full stop. They explain क्या छूट गया है क्या? मैं तेज तो नहीं बोल रही? फाइन, परफेक्ट. They explain similarity and resemblance. They explain similarity and resemblance through their concept of apoha. Through their concept of apoha. Next paragraph. The nominalistic view of Buddhism, the nominalistic view of Buddhism holds that the nominalistic view of Buddhism holds that universals are only name, universals are only names and not reals. Universals are only names and not reals. Full stop. The idea of sameness, the idea of sameness we have with regard to the idea of sameness we have with regard to the number of individuals of a certain class, with regard to the number of individuals of a certain class is due to their being called by the same name. Be called by the same name. So according to Buddhism, even are all cows same? No. Each cow is unique. All cows are not same according to them. It is just that they are less different from others amongst each other. So one cow is less different from other cow as compared to cow and horse. Therefore, we compile them into cow. But each cow is unique according to Buddhism. Each individual is rather unique. Cow, अच्छा मैंने कहाँ तक लिखा है? Due to their being called by the same name. Okay. Next paragraph. Cow is not cow. हाँ लिखो. Cow is not a cow because it shares a universal cowness. Cow is not a cow because it shares a universal cowness among cows. Rather, because it is different from all objects which are not cow. Hence, cow means, बताओ क्या means? Not non-cow. This is also known as logical, epistemological polemic. Logical and epistemological polemic between Nyaya and Buddhism. Logical and epistemological polemic between Nyaya and Buddhism. और भी लिख लो. Buddhism deny universal on the arguments. Buddhism deny universal on the arguments. Number 1. From where does the universal come? ये जो आप सवाल पूछ रहे थे ना, वही है ये। देखो बुद्धा की तरह सोचने लगे तुम लोग। फ्रॉम वेयर डज द यूनिवर्सल कम, फुल स्टॉप। द यूनिवर्सल potness did not exist in the lump of mud. The universal potness, the universal potness did not exist in a lump of mud. But it is produced just after the origination of the pot. After the origination of the pot. वो कह रहे हैं बताओ potness कहाँ थी? मड में तो नहीं थी. There was no potness in clay. And just after the pot became or constructed, immediately it had potness. From where did this potness come? If there is potness in a pot, from where did it come? Clay में तो नहीं थी, तो आई कहां से? That is why there is no universal according to Buddhism. Next, where does the universal go? Where does the universal go when the pot is destroyed? Full stop. It cannot be in the parts. Parts में तो हो नहीं सकती potness. अब टूट गया घड़ा. Can potness be in the broken parts? No. Second, it cannot be destroyed because it is eternal. Can potness be destroyed? No. It cannot go anywhere else because if it is mobile, then it will become a dravya. Because only dravya can be mobile. सब second point में ही है. Second point का continuation है. It cannot be mobile because if it is mobile, it will become a dravya. Third point, Buddhists say universal is as unreal as hare's horn. Buddhists say that universal is as unreal as hare's horn. And there can be no ontological proofs. And there as unreal as hare's horns. खरगोश के सींग. अब तो ओके, अब तुम उसकी जेनेटिक इंजीनियरिंग कर दोगे तो सब पॉसिबल है. ओके हाँ, और पॉइंट्स भी लिखवा दो क्या? लिख लो, दो चार और लिख लो. यूनिवर्सल इज नथिंग. क्या लिखा है हमने?
Universal is as unreal as hare's horn.
Universal is as unreal as hare's horn, as its ontological existence cannot be proved. As its ontological existence cannot be proved. यार मैं कहीं से वो ये पॉइंटर्स हैं, मैं अपने आप बोलती हूँ, एक बार में लिख लो, नहीं तो मतलब लिख लो. और लिखना लिख लो. According to Buddhism, universal is nothing separate from individual. According to Buddhism, universal is nothing different from individual. Because universal is dependent on individual or particular. because universal is dependent on particular. Next point. Where does universal rest in an individual? Where does universal rest in individual? If incomplete particular, मतलब पूरी काउ के अंदर काउनेस है. In full cow there is काउनेस. हाँ नहीं तो फिर काउ डिस्ट्रॉय हुई तो काउनेस भी डिस्ट्रॉय हो गई. और अगर एक काउ में पार्शियली काउनेस है सब काउस से तो कंप्लीट कहीं पर भी नहीं है. वही प्लेटो वाले आर्ग्यूमेंट्स हैं. सेम प्लेटो आर्ग्यूमेंट्स आर used here, but it is more and advisable that we learn about this universal particular in Plato because it is much more elaborate, clear and much more easy to understand there, है ना. क्योंकि वैशेषिका का यूनिवर्सल पर्टिकुलर कॉन्सेप्ट इज नॉट दैट डीप, इज नॉट दैट कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव जितना प्लेटो का. यस तो लिख लिया. if cowness is wholly in the cow, if cowness is wholly मतलब completely in the cow, then universal will destroy with the destruction of individual. Then universal will destroy with the destruction of individual. If cow has only partial cowness, if cow has only partial cowness, then it cannot be recognized as complete cow. Then it cannot be recognized as complete cow. Therefore, it is impossible. Therefore, it is impossible to explain the relation between universal and particular. एक और लिख लो आखिरी. ये इसी का ही कंटिन्यूएशन भी है. Is the universal found in any part or complete individual? Is the universal found in part or complete individual? Example. Is humanness present in the limb of a man? Is humanness present in the limb of a man or complete man only? Or complete man only. अगर एक पैर पड़ा हुआ हो कहीं पे तो हम क्या बोलते हैं? आदमी का पैर है. How do we know that it is a man? It's the leg of a man. According to Buddhism. Simple. So if that limb is also having humanness or manness or the complete human only, that is why according to Buddhism samanya cannot be explained. There is nothing which can be called as samanya or universal. Therefore they take resort to apohavad to explain similarity between things of the same class. ठीक है? But Nyaya, Jainism, Vedant, they will accept samanya because it is much easier to explain things through samanya. Clear? Okay. After samanya, let us come to the concept of particularity or vishesh. This is unique to this school. The concept of which school gave Apohavad? Buddhism and specifically Hinyan. Okay, huh. So now Vishesh is a very special category accepted by no other except Nyaya Vaisheshika. And this category in itself is so controversial that even later Nyayiks and later Vaisheshiks rejected it. Even they did not accept it. They could not explain it properly. But it was so unique that the name of Vaisheshika comes from this category, Vishesh. Simple. It is something like कोई चीज आपने कभी करी उसके बाद छोड़ भी दी लेकिन नाम आपका क्या पड़ गया? Vaisheshika. So Vishesh, what does Vishesh means? Vishesh means something special, unique, different. So just as Samanya is a concept which includes everything, so all the cows come under cowness. All the tables come under tableness. It includes particularity, or Vishesh is the concept which excludes everything else. Now, how I am and you are different? How can you know that this boy is different from this boy? Through unique features like parts. Parts से हम लोग differentiate कर सकते हैं? क्यों? Parts से differentiate नहीं कर लेंगे? तुमने चश्मा नहीं लगाया, उसने लगाया है. Each one of us is different because we have different features, different parts. Someone has this high, someone has this is low, someone has sharp nose, someone has piddy nose. Piddy nose matlab shallow nose, flatter nose, or all the other features can be different, and we differentiate each other based on these features. Similarly, you differentiate between one chair and second chair based on some parts. Number of atoms may be different. Anything will be different, but something is different. And we can recognize it through parts. But the problem with compound object is not there. We can differentiate based on their features, qualities, parts, anything and everything. Problem only arises with eternal elements. Eternal and partless things. Things which cannot be broken down, like atoms, souls, manas. Can you break them up? तो उनके parts तो है नहीं. All of these are partless. So atom is partless, soul is partless, manas is partless. All of these things are partless. Then how do you differentiate one atom from another atom? How? क्या बोल रहे? अच्छा क्वांटम, यस क्वांटम मैकेनिक्स. तो ऐसे थोड़े ना, तुम्हें क्या लग रहा है हमारे यहाँ क्वांटम मैकेनिक्स नहीं थी? Then how do you differentiate between one atom and second atom, or one soul and second soul? There are no parts. You cannot differentiate on the basis of parts. Then how do you differentiate? So for this differentiation, Nyaya Vaisheshika accepted a category, that is Vishesh. According to them, each atom contains a particularity or Vishesh within itself. This Vishesh differentiates this atom from all the other atoms. So each atom has its own particularity. Each soul has its own particularity, and based on this particularity, we can differentiate one soul from other and one atom from other. This particularity is not applicable on compound things, because compound things can be differentiated based on their parts. this feature is applicable or this feature is required only to explain the difference between eternal and partless things or द्रव्य. ठीक है? Let us read and we will take one point at a time. चलो. What is सामान्य? According to न्याय, yes. सामान्य. सामान्य और generality. Samanya is the class concept which is inclusive in nature. Particularity will be exclusive in nature. ठीक है? Generality is the basis of assimilation of different individuals to one another. सब एक साथ कर दिए ना सारी काउ, black, purple, white, pink काउ, सब एक साथ काउ. Cowness कर दिया ना उसको. All cows must have cowness. They are not differentiating on the basis of smaller differences. There can be a cow with one leg. There can be a cow of different color, different shape, different fur size, but not differentiating, assimilating everything. Whereas particularity will be the basis of discrimination of eternal individual substance from one another. Particularity enables us to perceive things as different from one another. Generally, we understand composite objects of this world as particulars, but according to Nyaya Vaisheshik, compound objects can easily be distinguished on the basis of their parts. But problem arises in the case of simple eternal substances like atoms, space, time, ether, mind, and souls. एक ही है तो उसमें बस एक पर्टिकुलरिटी ही है और कुछ है ही नहीं, कुछ और है ही नहीं. नहीं प्रॉब्लम अराइज नहीं होगा, लेकिन इसका मतलब ये थोड़ा ना उसमें है नहीं. उसमें बेसिकली यूजफुल कहाँ पे है? ये एटम्स, मानस और सोल में ही है. ठीक है, एक को किस डिस्टिंग्विश करके करोगे क्या? लेकिन क्योंकि इन्होंने इटरनल में माना है, कहाँ गए हम लोग? हाँ, which are all eternal and partless. As there are no parts to distinguish one from another, therefore there is an objective reality Vaishesh which inheres in these eternal substances to distinguish them from one another. One atom is different from another atom. Similarly, one soul is different from another soul because each one of them possesses particularity, which is unique and eternal. Therefore, there are innumerable atoms, manas and souls, each of which possess their own unique particularity. चाहो तो लिख लो, own particularity भी लिख सकते हो. Own senses are imperceptible. Similarly, क्या आप नहीं हो? और एटम क्या है? ठीक है, particularity is eternal because atom is eternal. Particularity is eternal because soul is particularity. कहाँ गए हम लोग? Just as eternal substances are imperceptible, similarly particularity inheres an individual substance is also imperceptible and can only be known through inference or yogic intuition. कैसे जानोगे कि particularity होती है? Imperceptible है? Either through inference or yogic intuition. Inference because we know that each atom is different from another. Based on that, we make an inference that there must be something which makes them different. What should be this? Vishesh. And yogic intuition, according to Nyaya Vaisheshik, yogis can see the particularity by their own yogic intuitive power. Fine? They can know Vishesh about Vishesh. One particularity distinguishes itself from another particularity and does not require any other particularity to distinguish it from others, else it will lead to infinite regret. One particularity or vishesh does not require another particularity to differentiate it. वरना तो इस एटम को डिफरेंशिएट करने के लिए क्या चाहिए? एक विशेष, और इसको डिफरेंशिएट करने के लिए क्या चाहिए? एक और विशेष. It can go till infinite. Therefore, Vaisheshika said that particularity does not require any other particularity to prove its differentiation or prove its distinction. अब तुम्हारे मन में जो डाउट है वो सत्य है, वही क्रिटिसिज्म है. ठीक है? If particularity can distinguish, then why can't atoms distinguish themselves? ये criticism है, and we will write it. Don't worry. Kanad made particularity dependent on thought, like generality, but later Vaisheshika made it an independent reality residing in eternal substances. देख रहे हो, कनाद ने एकदम रीजनेबल बातें करी थी थोड़ी थोड़ी. He discussed, but main problem started with later Vaisheshika. Then when they put these ideas as objective realities. Okay. No. Why will there be a vishesh in a composite thing? It is found only in eternal and partless things. Vishesh is found only in eternal and partless things. You people are not vishesh. पता है ना? How many of you think you are special? अरे फिर दोबारा. How many of you think you are special? अरे raise your hand. हाँ, दोबारा. Let me count. हाँ? मम्मी कहती है लाखों से एक. देखो मम्मी तो बहुत कुछ कहती है. Truth is, nobody is special. यूनिक तो सारे एटम्स भी हैं. But the truth is, nobody is special, and the real problem starts when you think you are special. All your troubles in life start only when you think that you are special. Fine. Nobody is special. We have our exactly same parts, psychology. Yes. A lot of troubles. Everyone is having nearly the similar kind of things. तुम्हें ऐसा लग रहा है बेटा? The thoughts you have thought, उस पे शायरियां लिखी जा चुकी है, उस पे कहानियां बनाई जा चुकी है. ठीक है? आपको ऐसा लग रहा है ये पहली बार आपके साथ हो रहा है? बिल्कुल नहीं. इस उम्र के बच्चों के साथ यही होता है. और ये आज से नहीं हो रहा. कब से हो रहा है? स्टोन एज से हो रहा है. Since Stone Age, the same story repeats itself always. The feeling you are feeling for your parents, is it unique? Is it unique? Everyone feels the same, and people feel much better than you. There was this Shravan Kumar, है ना? और श्रवण कुमारी. Let's keep it neutral. सेम श्रवण कुमार वाली फीलिंग भी बहुत लोग ले चुके हैं. ठीक है, लेकिन ऐसा कुछ यूनिक नहीं सोच सकते आप. कोई नहीं सोच सकता. ठीक है, तो अपने आप को यूनिक मानना Live like it's okay. है ना? यूनिक है. हाँ, यही मोटिवेशन पे सुन गए. You can do this. ऐसे वाला सुना नहीं. You are special. You are the gift from God. हाँ? नहीं नहीं नहीं, इससे बेहतर आएगी. देख रहे हो, देख रहे हो. देखो, तुम्हारे से इतनी सी स्पेशलिटी ली, इतनी सी खींची मैंने, अभी तो खींची भी नहीं, प्रूव भी नहीं किया. कैसे तिल मिला गए तुम लोग. है ना? अब तो लोग कितने जुड़े हुए हो अपने शरीर, अपनी जेनेटिक कोडिंग, अपने कितने बंधन में हो तुम लोग. इसी को वैशेषिका ने क्या कहा है? बॉन्डेज. ओके, कम बैक. चलो. So you people or any compound thing is not unique because Vaisheshika says it has no particularity. Particularity is the feature of only eternal and partless things or substances. Okay? Okay. Now this concept is highly controversial because, of course, if one particularity does not require another particularity to differentiate itself, then the same feature can be said to be in atom. Then one atom does not require any other thing to be differentiated by another atom. So it does not require parts to differentiate between two things, according to Vedanta and other philosophies who will criticize the concept of Vaisheshika, concept of Vishesh basically. Okay? Let us read. Criticism. Vedanta and Mimamsa will reject the doctrine of Vishesh. Modern Nyayikas also do not find justification for resumption of Vishesh because if one particularity can distinguish itself from another particularity, then one atom can also do it without the help of बात ये है कि how will one particularity differentiate itself from another particularity? Who introduced by Vaisheshika. ठीक. Oh. Criticism is being done by valid है बिल्कुल. So they are saying, so Vaisheshika says that it requires another third entity which must be present in an atom to differentiate one atom from another. Now other schools are saying that if this particular thing, this particularity can differentiate itself from another particularity without the help of any other thing, then this can simply be the feature of atom itself. How do you know? वैशेषिका तो कुछ भी बोलेगा. But is there any proof that one particularity is different from another particularity? This is what the other schools are saying, that there is no requirement of particularity to be created as a unique entity, a third entity. Rather, one atom can differentiate itself from another atom without the help of particularity. Because if you say that this atom requires particularity, there must be this particularity to differentiate itself from other atoms. Now how do you differentiate between this particularity and this particularity? There must be another particularity to differentiate this from this. This is whenever you will introduce a third element to differentiate between two things, it will always lead to third man fallacy or infinite regress. This is third man fallacy rather, simply.
But still, ma'am, how can we still differentiate between two atoms if there is no particularity?
Yes. So, according to Vaisheshika, each atom is having different qualities, but the atoms of air, they cannot be, according to Vaisheshika, they can be distinguished based on particularity, but others will not talk about this. How they will be distinguished? They say distinguish की जरूरत क्या है? जरूरत क्या है?
Just for an example, there are two things. One particular features taken, but they are still differentiated based on the particular atom. The atoms अलग होता है ना?
पहली चीज, twins are a
I'm just giving an analogy.
analogy cannot be taken in this case because the analogies, the examples you are taking is of compound objects. We have to understand that particularity can only be a concept associated with eternal and partless object or drawing. So according to them, how can you distinguish? So basically why Vaisheshika introduced this? Because they said, how can you distinguish one fire atom with another fire atom? Hai na? To distinguish it, let us introduce a third element, that is Vishesh. But now other schools are saying, firstly, there is no means of knowing Vishesh. First. Secondly, if Vishesh has this capability, then why not atoms themselves? Why to create another entity? And others will also say, Vedant, कि जरूरत क्या है? To differentiate between one atom and second atom. So therefore, this concept of Vishesh was rejected by other schools. Khud bhi. Then later Vaisheshika also realized that this concept of Vishesh was indefensible. वो जितना इसे defend करते थे उतना फंस जाते थे. So they said कि you know this concept can be left alone. लेकिन तब तक उनका नाम पड़ चुका था. हाँ. जैसे बच्चा फर्स्ट ईयर में पढ़ता है उसे पढ़ाकू कहने लगते हैं, उसके बाद उसने सेकंड ईयर से पढ़ाई छोड़ दी, लेकिन तब भी नाम क्या है? चलो पढ़ते हैं. मॉडर्न न्याय का ये हमने कर लिया क्या? सेम ही है वो. पढ़ लो जल्दी से पढ़ लो. सेम है, दो ही पॉइंट है.
Uniqueness,
Which uniqueness?
which is
Hmm.
one particular is able to differentiate from another.
So how do you know that one particular is able to differentiate with other particular? If particular can differentiate with other particular, then even atom can differentiate itself from another atom. अब यही होता है, इसी को कहते हैं पावर ऑफ आइडिया. वैशेषिका ने दिमाग में डाल दिया कि एक पर्टिकुलर की जरूरत है. इससे पहले लगा था? हाँ, चल जा रहा था. बट द मोमेंट यू रिक्वायर, जैसे हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू वांट आईफोन 15? हाँ, वैसे उसमें कुछ नया फीचर तो है ही नहीं, बट अच्छा, हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू वांट a phone with this? What? Basically, जब तक कोई एक नई चीज आपके दिमाग में नहीं आती तब तक पता नहीं था हमें भी चाहिए ये. लेकिन जब हम कोई चीज देख लेते हैं, immediately the need arises. Something like this. ठीक है? Okay, come back. उसके बाद नेक्स्ट कॉन्सेप्ट है हमारा samve. Samve or inherence. Inherence is the inseparable permanent relation between two things. Like, can you differentiate between body and its parts? So this is the body and these are its parts. Can you separate body and parts? Your body and your parts? So if I take away your heart, will it be your body? है ना? Ma'am, why do we need a third particular to differentiate between two particulars? This is what criticism is. We don't require. You know? So body and parts can never be separate. Because if we take out the part, it will not be the complete body. The relation is inseparable. Similar is the relation between quality and dravya, or gun and dravya. If you take all the qualities out of dravya, will it be dravya? It cannot be separated. Complete human थोड़े ना, complete body थोड़े ना, कुछ different है ना पहले वाली body से. Will it be the same? हे भगवान, इस लड़के के concept बहुत हिले हुए हैं, बहुत ज़्यादा. It's talking about the whole and the part. Body means whole and part. Here, whole means complete and part means part of that whole. But if you remove a part, will it be whole? No. So this means whole will get destroyed. Similarly, if you remove all the guna or the qualities, the dravya it will not be a dravya in itself. So this relation where things are inseparably connected, inseparable relation between two things is known as samve. Inseparable. It has to be inseparable. And the existence itself must go if one thing goes away. जो रिलेशन है इनहेरेंस का, अगर उसमें से एक चीज आपने हटा दी तो वो एग्जिस्टेंस ही खत्म हो जाना चाहिए. Only then the relation will be called as samve relation. We will read and then we will compare with samyog relation. What is the samyog relation? Samve is the separate category accepted by Vaisheshikas, which means inseparable, eternal relation, which is called as inherence. According to Kanad, it is the relation of cause and effect or container and contained. This is in that. Part is in whole. Gun is in dravya. Action is in dravya. Or what do you say? Universal or particular, universal is in particular. Can you separate cow and cowness? Cowness निकाल दी तो cow क्या है? कुछ नहीं. This kind of relation. According to Kanad, it is a relation of cause and effect or container and contained, or this is in that. Things related with samve are inseparably connected. The relation is eternal because its production would involve infinite regress. Production in the sense, universal और particular में कौन पहले आया? Can you have any answer? Part and whole में कौन पहले आया? क्वालिटी और द्रव्य में कौन पहले आया? एक हाँ yes, that's inseparable. This is what they are talking about, that it is a inseparable relation between two things. ठीक है? Okay. And this relation is called आयुत सिद्ध. ये टर्म मार्क कर लो, आयुत सिद्ध. अब इन्होंने क्या किया वैशेषिक्स ने? They accepted a relation, a category. Can a relation be classified as a category? Should it be? No. But they classified it. Big problem they will go into. Because a relation, if you are saying that permanent relation or eternal relation, that is samve, is a category, then what about temporary relation? And they have not categorized temporary relation as a category, only the permanent relation as the category. बहुत problem है, बहुत बुराई होगी अभी. We will criticize them heavily for accepting samve as a separate category. So in samve or inherence is the imperceptible. Can you perceive the inseparable relation? No, it is imperceptible and only inferred through inseparable relation between two things. Example, parts and whole. And ye underline karo, in this relation one substance is dependent for its existence on another. ये mutual relation है क्या? नहीं, mutual नहीं है. One thing is dependent on another. One thing is dependent on another. Mutual matlab, this is also dependent on this, this is also dependent on this. But according to Nyaya Vaisheshik, the relation is not such. The relation is where one thing is more dependent on other. इसको भी criticize करेंगे. हाँ, इसको criticize करेंगे. अब इन्होंने कहा quality depends on द्रव्य, because द्रव्य quality needs द्रव्य to be existing. But problem is द्रव्य will also require quality to exist. होना mutual चाहिए. But वैशेषिका ने accept नहीं किया. उन्होंने क्या accept किया? That one thing is dependent on another. According to them, quality is dependent on द्रव्य. Action is dependent on द्रव्य. Part is dependent on whole. But even whole is dependent on part. They did not understand this. Therefore, we will criticize it. पढ़ लो. Right? बताओ. What is samve? हाँ. What is samve? Inseparable relation between two things, in which one thing depends on another. Example, part and whole. Particular and universal, Vishesh and eternal substances. Okay, it is all, this relation is also known as आयुत सिद्ध, ठीक है. And this relation is permanent and inseparable. Important thing. इसी के opposite जो relation होता है वो क्या होगा? If this is permanent, then there will be temporary relation. And now this temporary relation is known as samyog. Samyog is a temporary, non-eternal relation between two things, which can and usually exist in separation to each other. दो चीजें जो अलग अलग exist कर सकती हैं, when they come in contact, this is known as samyog. Like shaking of hands between two people, they can exist separately, but they can come in contact and shake their hands. This bottle can exist separately and the table can exist separately, but the moment I kept this bottle on table, they came in contact, samyog. So this separable relation, this temporary relation, you are sitting on a chair, so your chair and you are in contact, but is it a permanent? Temporary. उठ जाओगे तो contact खत्म. This temporary relation between any two things is known as samyog. And samyog is also known as yut siddh. Yut siddh. Samyog is produced by the action of either or both of the things. Based on this, there are three types of samyog. First, anyantar karmaj samyog. Anyantar कर्मज संयोग, जिसमें एक ही एक्शन, एक ही व्यक्ति के एक्शन से. सो अ बर्ड फ्लाइंग sit on a table, sit on a tree, then अन्यतर कर्मज संयोग. पेड़ वही था, सिर्फ चिड़िया आई बैठ गई. चेयर यही थी, आप आए बैठ गए. अन्यतर कर्मज संयोग. उभय कर्मज संयोग, due to the action of both people. हाथ मिलाना, shaking of hands, गले लगना, है ना? This kind in which both of them are in motion, that is known as ubhay karmaj samyog. Then there is samyogad samyog. Now, when the bird sat on the tree, there is this tree and there is this bird. And now this bird is, of course, in a contact with the tree, but indirectly, is it in contact with the ground also? Because tree is in the contact of ground, therefore bird is indirectly in contact of ground. अगर कुछ भी होगा तो चिड़िया के ऊपर भी असर पड़ेगा, because there is indirect contact. This indirect contact is known as samyogaj samyog. Samyogaj samyog produced by another. Bird sitting on tree is indirectly in samyog or in contact with earth. जैसे
क्लास लेना तो क्लास नहीं लेना होगा
मतलब
अभी मान लीजिए ठाकुर से हमारा जो रिलेशन है, समझो कि जब तक क्लास चल रहा तब तक आएंगे, क्लास खत्म खत्म निकलेंगे.
हाँ,
अगर मान लीजिए किसी का टेम्पोररी
नहीं आओगे तुम लोग. Okay, नहीं, so it is a physical relation they are talking about. हाँ, आ जाओ बच्चे तो हमेशा always invited. हाँ, he's always ready. No, so they are talking about physical relation. ठीक है? So the question, if any, comes like, what is the difference between samyog and samvay relation? Simple. Or why Vaisheshika accepted samvay as the category and not samyog? Criticize. तो questions बड़े simple आते हैं samyog और samvay पे. but we just have to understand what is the samvay relation and what is the samyog relation. ठीक है, samvay और samyog के बीच में डिफरेंस बिना पढ़े बताओ, बिना पढ़े परमानेंट, टेम्पररी, इटर्नल, नॉन इटर्नल, inseparable, separable. This is known as inherence, this is known as conjugation. Okay.
It required physical
है अपनी फिलॉसफी, मुझे बिल्कुल है ना, जो बच्चे अपनी फिलॉसफी लिख कर आएंगे ना, जो मैंने नहीं पढ़ाई, फिर वो आके मेरे पास रोए कि मैम सिलेक्शन नहीं हुआ, 2 थप्पड़ मुझसे खाएंगे. हाँ है, cannot end without destruction. Things will destroy. If you inseparable relation को हटाओगे तो things will destroy, but here no destruction. चिड़िया उड़ गई, चिड़िया भी ठीक है, पेड़ भी ठीक है. Okay, let us read. See which one did you not write? Samvay is an internal relation. Samyog is a external relation. And Padarth, this is a category. Samvay has been categorized by Vaisheshika as a Padarth or category, whereas Samyog is only as a quality. बहुत बड़ा criticism, यही criticism है. Why Samvay as a category and Samyog as a quality? This thing is in that. Clear? जब हम criticize करेंगे तो उसके अंदर आ जाएगा. Let us start with अभाव. ये बहुत ही interesting है. It's part of the gun. So जो gunas we read, Samyog is accepted one of the quality और gun. Quality. हमने second category पढ़ी थी ना, gun. Samyog is one of the quality. So it is a big flaw of Vaisheshika where they have accepted one kind of relation as a proper category and उसके opposite Samyog को only as a quality. This means कितना difference create कर दिया same ही type की चीज में, है ना? We will criticize their categorization based on this argument. Okay. Very interesting. And the last category, that is abhav. What is abhav? Absence of something. आपके जीवन में क्या अभाव है? Something which is non-existent, but you know what it is abhav. Something which you know what it is and it is absent from your life is abhav. If there is this bottle, ठीक है? Where is the bottle? Is there? अच्छा सुनो. Is there any bottle on the table? लेकिन अगर आपको पता है कि किस चीज का अभाव है यहाँ पे, किसका? कुछ खाली खाली सा लग रहा है. So the abhav is a negative category. We have read earlier that Harshit, क्या? हर्षित इतना इधर आओ. हर्षित तुम इधर बैठो, पर तुम जहां बैठोगे डिस्टर्ब करोगे. प्रॉब्लम ये है. पीछे पीछे बैठो. हाँ, और तुम दोनों अपने बीच में बैग रखो. हाँ, मतलब यूपीएससी के बच्चे नहीं लग रहे हो तुम लोग मुझे. स्कूल के बच्चों को पढ़ा रही हो ऐसा महसूस देते हो कभी कभी. ओके. है ही सेइंग अब आवाज का अभाव हो जाएगा, बातें नहीं सुनाई देंगी ना इनकी. Okay, so Rishi Kanad did not categorized abhav as a special category or a separate category. He just talked about it, that it is something, abhav is something. But later Vaisheshikas and Nyayikas accepted abhav as a separate category. Abhav is a negative category. All others are bhav. Bhav means something was there, जिसके बारे में बात हो रही थी, पर यहाँ पे जो नहीं है उसके बारे में बात हो रही है. Here we are talking about something which is absent, and this absence or this negation is being categorized as abhav. Let us read and let us see what are its types. Rishi Kanad did not mention abhav as a separate category. It was later added by Nyaya or later Nyaya or Navya Nyaya or future Nyaya school or later Nyaya school. Future की जगह पे लिखो later Nyaya school. The first 6 categories of padarth are absolute or bhav, while this category is negative or relative in its conception and is called abhav. According to Vaisheshika realism, just as knowledge is independent and different from the object known, similarly, knowledge of negation is different from the thing negated and necessarily point to some object which is negated. पढ़ लो इस लाइन को एक बार दोबारा से. Understandable? Anyone having problem with this line? So, this is this apple and the knowledge of apple. These are two separate things. Similarly, on this table, there is no apple and the knowledge of absence, negation, and the knowledge of negation are two separate things. And because this absence can be thought of, known, and named. Bottle nahi hai. It can be named. There is an abhav of bottle. It can be thought of कि bottle nahi hai. And you can have a knowledge of it कि bottle nahi hai. Therefore, it is a separate category according to later Nyayiks. Therefore, they have given abhav a separate categorization. उसको इतना इज्जत दी इन्होंने अभाव को, to create it as a separate पदार्थ or a 7th category. अभाव समझ में आ गया? अब कितने टाइप के अभाव होते हैं? According to this, majorly there are 2 types of abhav. First is sansarga bhav. See, right? Sansarga bhav. And second is anno anya bhav. Anno anya abhav. In your notes. अरे पहले जो संसर्ग लिखा है वो तो पढ़ो. Major classification is sansarga bhav and second is anno anya abhav. Now sansarga bhav is non-existence of something in something else. That is, S is not in P. S is not in P. S में P नहीं है. S में P नहीं है. P कहाँ है? सेपरेट है. ठीक है. अब इसी के टाइप्स हैं. फर्स्ट टाइप इज प्रगभाव और antecedent non-existence. A thing is non-existent before it is produced. ये क्ले है. जब तक पॉट नहीं बना, till the time Pot is not created out of this clay. Pot is non-existing. This non-existence of pot in clay is known as pragabhav or antecedent non-existence. और जब ये pot बन गया और टूट गया, फिर क्या निकले? ब्रोकन पीसेस. अब इन ब्रोकन पीसेस में किसका अभाव है? पॉट का अभाव है. दिस इज नोन एज प्रध्वंसा अभाव और subsequent non-existence. Then there is third category, atyant abhav. Atyant abhav or absolute non-existence, like hare's horn, like barren woman's child. Possible ही नहीं है जो. क्या barren woman का child हो सकता है? Impossible. Can a hare have horns? No. Absolute non-existence. Possible ही नहीं हो जो. So 3 type of non-existence. Pot is not in clay. Pot is not in broken pieces. S is not in P. S is not in P. And atyant abhav, that is hare's horn. S is not in P. Hare cannot have horn. Clear? 3 type of abhav. No, it is a relative category. ड्रॉ नहीं करना है. ड्रॉ क्यों करोगे? ये तो मैंने आपको समझाने के लिए ड्रॉ किया है ना. Don't draw pot and all these things because the words are in itself self-explanatory. If the question comes on abhav, there will be so much to write that there is no space and there is no time to draw anything. This is abhav. We will also be reading abhav in Mimamsa. Then there will be interpretations of abhav by Vedant, and also you will criticize abhav. Even if the question is directly on abhav, it will be so much to write that you cannot draw in it. Simple. Okay. Drawing is only for the times जब content now. अब कंटेंट नहीं है तो बनाओ मटके, सब मटके टुकड़े क्ले जो बनाना है बनाओ. हाँ, पॉटर भी बना दो, पॉटर के पापा भी दिखा दो, पीछे हट भी बना दो. ठीक है, लेकिन ऐसी कंडीशन ना आए इसके लिए पढ़ लो. ठीक है, लेट अस रीड. According to Vaisheshika, there are 2 major types of abhav. What are they? संसर्ग अभाव and अन्नो अन्य अभाव. ठीक है. What is संसर्ग अभाव या non-existence of correlation? S is not P. Simple. S is not P. S is not in P. ठीक है. इसके टाइप्स क्या हैं? प्रगभाव या फिर एंटीसीडेंट नॉन एग्जिस्टेंस. एग्जाम्पल बताओ. Pot is non-existence in clay before its production. Okay. It is without a beginning but has an end. But has an end. कैसे? जब तक क्ले पड़ा है तब तक तो पॉट नहीं है. There is abhav of pot. It is beginningless. There is no beginning to it. But the moment pot is made, the abhav ends. So it has no beginning but end. It is destroyed by the production of effect. If antecedent negation is denied, then all things would become beginningless. Example, non-existence of jar in clay, that is abhav of pot in clay. Simple. Clear? Then second is प्रध्वंसा अभाव और सब्सिक्वेंट नॉन एग्जिस्टेंस। क्या एग्जाम्पल है इसका? अभाव ऑफ pot in its pieces. There is no pot in its pieces. अभाव, this is known as subsequent or, अरे बोलो वरना याद नहीं होगा, प्रध्वंसा अभाव। हाँ, it has beginning but no end. Abhav begins. When does abhav begins? When the pot breaks. But does it have end? The abhav will continue because you cannot get back the pot. Okay. The subsequent non-existence is denied, then all things would become eternal. अगर चीजें खत्म ही नहीं होंगी तो सारी चीजें क्या हो जाएंगी? Eternal. Then atyant abhav or absolute non-existence. It is a pseudo idea. It is both beginningless and endless. It is the absence of relation between two things in the past, present, and future for all times. कभी और कभी उनके बीच में रिलेशन ना है, ना होगा, ना हुआ था। ठीक है? It is the absence of relation between two things. It cannot be produced or destroyed. Therefore, eternal. Example, barren woman's child, hare's horn, sky flower, etc. If atyant abhav is denied, then all things would exist always and everywhere. ठीक है? Okay. Then second is anno anya abhav, mutual negation. It is expressed as S is not P. वो in था, यहाँ पे S is not P. Mutual, दोनों के बीच में. It is the exclusion as opposed to identity. इसका क्या मतलब है? घोड़ा हाथी नहीं है, हाथी घोड़ा नहीं है. Simple. Existence of chair as chair and not as table. Simple. If it is denied, then all things would become identical. If non-existence of a thing is another thing, example, table does not exist as chair. S is not P. चाहो तो इसमें horse, camel सब लिख सकते हो. Horse camel नहीं है और camel horse है. So atyant abhav is basically a pseudo concept. लिखा भी है उसमें pseudo concept. क्योंकि
जो भी बात कर रहा हूँ तो correspondence theory को मैं भी इसका तो बिलीव करता है correspondence theory तो जितने भी अत्यंत भाव है सारे यहाँ पर तो रियलिटी साइड पे
this correspondence we will see when we will see in Mimamsa. वहां पे कर देंगे proof. Don't worry. So when you are seeing the absence of a pot, you are also seeing the surface of the table. And with this surface of the table, with this perception, you know कि यहाँ पे pot था लेकिन अब नहीं है, है ना? तो वो correspondence उस चीज से नहीं होगा, किसी और से होगा, अभाव वाली चीज से नहीं होगा. और जो लोग क्या सबने अभाव की कैटेगरी को माना है? नहीं माना. हमने जैनिज्म पढ़ा, बुद्धिज्म पढ़ा, सांख्य पढ़ा, योग, अभी तक अभाव की बात हुई थी नहीं. Because they have not accepted abhav as a category, or they have not accepted abhav as a real thing. But these people have accepted abhav. That is why we are talking about it. But now, definitely it is against or in opposition to the correspondence theory accepted by Nyaya. And similar will be the case in Mimamsa. But Nyaya has not talked about it in that detail as is done by the two philosophers in Mimamsa, Prabhakar and Kumaril Bhatt. And there we will discuss this abhav with the proper sequence. Okay, why, how it relates to the correspondence theory. Question वहीं से आता है. हाँ, this is also a criticism. Abhav is known by anupalabdhi. हाँ, but they have not accepted. Have they accepted anupalabdhi as a praman? No. So according to Nyaya, even the abhav is known through perception. Even the abhav is known through perception and inference. So how do you know there is no bottle here? Decode करो अब, break करो अपने perception को भी. How do you know there is no bottle here? Earlier there was, but now how do you know there is no? अब तुम्हें खाली टेबल दिख रही है. Now you are able to see the surface of the table, and with this surface of the table you realize कि यहाँ पर बॉटल होनी चाहिए थी, but है नहीं. You made an inference. There was a bottle, but now I see only the bare surface. Therefore, there must be something which is missing. Therefore, there is the abhav of bottle. So then do not accept anuplabdhi as a praman, but only pratyaksh and anuman to be the source of knowledge of abhav. ठीक है? Okay. अब आ गए हम सबसे बढ़िया पार्ट पे, which is criticism. You will like it. चलो चेयर रखना. Criticism तो सब बढ़िया है. Okay. Vaisheshika gave a realistic pluralism, which is mere enumeration of categories, but they did not synthesize into a harmonious system. कैसी कैटेगरीज बनाई वैशेषिका ने? रैंडम. One category is द्रव्य. Second is gun. Gun means qualities. Third is karm. Fourth is samanya. Samanya talks about universal. Then vishesh. And last, samve. So what is samve? A relation. So atoms, souls, ether, space are comparable to a relation. Is it logical? Is it logical? No. So the categorization itself is very not illogical, random. Logical है. You are saying कि object, so you are giving the same status to a relation as of an object. This is so tangible and this is so intangible. It is intangible and this is so tangible. Now you are saying gunas are dependent on dravya. Then why are you making it a separate independent category? If gunas and karmas are dependent on dravya, should it be accepted as a separate category? नहीं होना चाहिए था ना? Problem. Now you are accepting samve as a separate category, but similar kind of relation which is temporary, samyog, not accepted as a category, but you delegate और आपने एकदम उसको सब स्टैंडर्ड करते हुए उसको सिर्फ एक क्वालिटी बना दिया. कुछ भी. ठीक है? So let us see. The categories appear to be mere assumptions. We can think of any number of categories in such manner. Why 6 or 7? और बना लेते. Vaisheshika accepted gun and karma as separate independent categories, but made them dependent on. How can a dependent thing be independent? Further, raising quality and action to the same status of substance feels inappropriate. Next, while gun and karma cannot exist separate from the substance, but substance can exist separate from gun and karma. They have always talked about that gun is dependent on substance, karma is dependent on substance, but they never said that substance is dependent on gun or substance is dependent on karma. And criticizers bolenge that substance is also dependent on gun and karma. Even in some way, they said inseparable relation where one is dependent on another, where whole is dependent on parts, where universal is dependent on particular. Now, the moment you say one is dependent on another, you are making one as dependent, but the other as independent. Not possible, because the other is also dependent. पढ़ लो. म्यूचुअल होना चाहिए था, बिल्कुल म्यूचुअल होता भी है. Yes. No, substance की definition तो यार हर philosopher अपनी ही देगा. But generally, which is accepted is that a substance should be something which is independent. No, we are not criticizing on that point. We are saying that when gun is dependent on dravya, either it should not be made a separate category, or if it is so, then substance should also be dependent on gun. What is the substance if you take all the gun out of it? What is there? Mere abstraction? रहते हैं inseparable बनाया, लेकिन फिर उन्होंने एक लाइन जोड़ दी that gun is dependent on dravya, but dravya is not dependent on gun. And later they themselves said it is an inseparable relation. But two contradictory things they have said, therefore they must be criticized. ठीक है? Okay, next. Samanya, Vishesh and Samve are conceptual in nature, depending on thoughts. So what is Samanya? Universal, countless. Where does it, how do you know? Through an idea that countless. Similarly, Vishesh, a particularity, you don't perceive it. It's imperceptible. But how do you know? You know, the notion of differentiation between two things. Similarly, Samve, it is a relation, a concept that there should be an inseparable relation between two things. Now, these three are conceptual in nature, and they have been given same status as dravya, यानी soul, और ये सारे concepts एक बराबर है. Atoms, ether, space, things which are objectively real have been given same importance and space or standard to conceptual things. Inappropriate. ये सब criticizers हैं, criticizers बोलेंगे ऐसे, ठीक है? Vaisheshika has reduced substance to a mere I know not what or mere nothing. This you will understand when we will do Locke. Therefore, Vaisheshika should have only accepted dravya as a category. This may, what it says, थोड़ा सा मैं बता देती हूँ. So, this is dravya. If you take out action out of it, if you take out qualities, what remains? What remains? I know not what. क्या है पता नहीं, क्योंकि आपने इससे स्क्वायर शेप निकाल दी, टेक्सचर निकाल दिया, कलर निकाल दिया. You remove everything, all the qualities within itself. Solidity निकाल दी. What remains? just abstraction. So the way Dravya has been made as just a abstraction, which Locke has said as I know not what. It is his phrase because he will also do the same. Abhav is also relative as it is dependent on existence, therefore cannot be treated as independent category. कभी बॉटल होती ही नहीं तो बॉटल का अभाव होता क्या? So this means that absence of pot is dependent on the first, the presence of pot, because it is a relative category. And should a relative category be given a status of independent category? No. ठीक है? Criticism of, these are the criticisms of पदार्थ और categorization और categories. क्रिटिसिज्म और भी हैं लेकिन 7 से ज्यादा लिख नहीं पाओगे. हाँ, शंकराचार्य ने तो सबका ही किया है क्रिटिसिज्म. देन लेट अस क्रिटिसाइज द्रव्य. बताओ, पढ़ने से पहले बताओ, व्हाट डू यू फील, व्हाट इज रॉन्ग विद द्रव्य? अरे हो गया, वो पदार्थ में हो गया, अब नया बताओ कुछ. ईथर as the substratum of sound. Charvak will reject it. Yes. What else? Okay. बोर करो तुम लोग, जल्दी जल्दी बताओ. Understandable. Difference between atoms. So now they have said that atoms of air, water, fire are all different because each of them has different qualities. ये लिखवा देती हूँ. Open your इसमें लिखा है क्या कहीं पे? नहीं लिखा क्या? लिखा है कहीं पे? लिखो 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 लिखो, लिखो. क्या हुआ? लिखा है? देखो देखो जल्दी देखो, वरना लिखवाती हूँ ना मैं. लिख लो, लिखवा दे. Air has the quality of touch. Atoms of air have the quality of touch. Fire has the quality of touch and color. Water has the quality of touch, color, taste and क्या रह गया? Touch, color and taste. Earth has the quality of touch, color, taste and smell. और ईथर की क्वालिटी क्या है? साउंड. किसने दिया था? मेजर क्वालिटी यही है इनकी. ओके फाइन. नाउ मैं क्या बता रही थी आपको. अब पढ़ लेते हैं. आप लोग तो ज्यादा कुछ सोच नहीं पा रहे हो क्रिटिसिज्म, और कुछ सोच पा रहे हो. हाँ फायर परसेप्टेबल नहीं है, जला के दिखाओ इसको. Atoms are imperceptible. Fire as an element is perceptible.
Atoms of air has quality of touch. It has quality of touch. Then it is perceptible.
It is the quality. मतलब in the sense कि एक एटम को नहीं आप कर सकते पता. As an element पूरा जब ग्रॉस हो जाएगा तो उसके अंदर क्या क्वालिटी आ जाएगी, टच की, हीट की, और फिर आप उसको कर सकते हो. So there is a difference between atom and element, है ना. Atom is one atom which is imperceptible, but as a whole element perceptible. How many atoms are there in a fire? Many. Okay. ठीक है. First, ether is imagined only as a medium for combination of atoms and substratum as a quality of sound, while space and time are intuitional, not or, intuitional, and mind is internal sense organ. Basically इन सबको उसने द्रव्य मान लिया. All has been accepted as द्रव्य, whether it is material or whether it is spiritual, all द्रव्य. Soul is a spiritual, द्रव्य. Atoms are material, द्रव्य. Ether, which is accepted only as a medium of sound and substratum of area where atoms combine, space के साथ ही है ना commensurate, उसको मान लिया as a separate substance. Then manas as a separate substance. This is a very wide and what do you say, it's a random division of द्रव्य itself. 9 तरीके के द्रव्य मान लिए, 9 kinds of substance. Too many substance. Should substance be so many? वर्ल्ड तो एक या दो चीज, 3 चीज इनसे बनना चाहिए ना. How many atoms? वो भी इटर्नल. सोल भी इटर्नल, मनस भी इटर्नल, स्पेस टाइम ईथर वो भी इटर्नल. भगवान का काम क्या है? सब कुछ तो इटर्नल है, सब कुछ परमानेंट है. So this is not how, according to criticizers, so many substances should not be accepted. क्यों भाई, कैसे अनरियलिस्टिक कैसे होगा? हाँ पानी पी, इसे पानी पी लो. It is absurd to maintain, it is absurd to maintain qualitative difference between atoms because real metaphysical division is only physical and spiritual atoms. अब इन्होंने atoms के बीच में क्या differentiation create कर दिया? 4 types of atoms: air, water, fire and earth. Now each atom is also different. There is qualitative atom difference between fire and earth because earth has more qualities. It has the quality of smell, whereas atom of air only touch. Now this is a problematic, isn't it? Now Shankaracharya will criticize that the one with more qualities, should it be heavier? But the moment you make it heavier, हाँ ऐसा ही criticism किया है शंकराचार्य ने, करा है. If it is heavier, then there should be difference in their masses, in its creation of objects, but no such difference is found. ये शंकराचार्य ने criticize किया, लिखवा दूंगी मैं अभी. हाँ लिखा हुआ है, चलो अब बहुत सारे करें, शंकराचार्य ने वैशेषिका को बहुत क्रिटिसाइज किया है. He has said that Vaisheshika is the half destroyer of world, whereas Hinyan Buddhist is the full destroyer. So Hinyan Buddhism has destroyed the world completely, whereas Vaisheshika has destroyed the world in half, partly. Now, this is what. So now, on one hand, we say that Vaisheshika is more close to science because science also talks about different atomic masses and atomic weights of each atom. And similarly, Vaisheshika has also talked about that each atom is different. And this difference is actually based on, मतलब पर साइंस ने बहुत सारे एटम्स माने हैं, यहाँ पे इसने सिर्फ 4 एटम्स टाइप्स के माने, 4 टाइप्स के एटम्स माने है ना, एयर, वाटर, फायर एंड अर्थ. बट यस, इन्होंने भी डिफरेंस माना है, उन्होंने भी डिफरेंस माना है. दिस इज हाउ वी गिव द इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ वैशेषिका. बट एट द सेम टाइम they were not properly able to explain how each atom is different. Just based on the qualities, how can you differentiate? अगर शंकराचार्य बोलेंगे अगर डिफरेंट है तो उनके बॉडी मासेस में भी डिफरेंस होना चाहिए, और अगर वेट में डिफरेंस है, उनके साइज में डिफरेंस है, तो पूरी जो क्रिएशन है वो चीज रिफ्लेक्ट होनी चाहिए. अकॉर्डिंग टू शंकराचार्य इट डजंट गेट रिफ्लेक्टेड. Therefore he criticizes Vaisheshika for creating qualitative difference between atoms. Clear? लिख लो, अगर नहीं भी लिखा तो इसमें लिख लो. अच्छा तो ऊपर लिख भी लो शंकराचार्य. और डिटेल में लिखवाऊं? और भी देखो बहुत सारे क्रिटिसिज्म्स है वैशेषिका की. वैशेषिका के बहुत क्रिटिसिज्म है. Each book you will see, you will find new and new criticisms because their theory is definitely very flawed in some respects, not in all respects, but in some respects. Yes. Next, not accepting consciousness as the essence of soul makes the whole concept of soul very shallow. They did not accept soul as conscious, but as unconscious. अब वो कैसी आत्मा है जिसके अंदर consciousness भी नहीं है? Vaisheshika has talked about difference, but could not realize that reality means concrete reality, which is identity in difference. When they created all these categories, they did not synthesize them into something one. You know, their categorization is anything which can be known, thought, and real is a separate category. What kind of classification is that? There is no synthesis into one. They have not synthesized things, separate categories in something one. Like Shankaracharya will synthesize it into Brahm. Everything is Brahm. So there is something which we can talk about. Such lack of synthesis was also found in वैशेषिका में तो है ही. और किसमें हमने बात करी थी कि they have talked about relatives but no absolute. Jainism. There also we have talked about. तुम्हारे सर से तो सब कुछ ऊपर जा रहा होगा. नहीं. The new girls. All of this is the earlier philosophy. वो विजय सोच रही क्या बोल रहे हैं लोग. Okay. Then next. Vaisheshika has accepted inherence or samvay as a separate padarth, while samyog has been accepted only as a catalogued as a mere quality, which is not fair. ये वही criticism है. because reality as a reality is a concrete reality where parts should correlate with the whole. In the sense, for a philosophy to be concrete and workable, there should be differences. Like we have different parts. We have heart, which is entirely different from lungs, which is entirely different from pancreas. All our parts are very different. Yet, when they come together, they fit into each other perfectly. And this whole coming together creates a one human being. One whole, complete, workable human being. Similar should be the philosophy, where howsoever different parts you may create, howsoever different categories, substances you may create, but everything should fit very nicely into one proper explanation. And that proper explanation or that particular thing as a whole should be workable. But here in Vaisheshika, things are so different, as if things have been scattered, but there is nothing which unifies them together. This is the problem of Vaisheshika philosophy, because it's not giving a complete concretized picture of a philosophy. Next, Shankaracharya's criticism, yes. If Samvaya is a category, why not Samyog? Inherence of Samvaya cannot be explained, because if inherence is in two different things, then there will be need of another inherence to relate them, leading to ad infinitum. Same concept. जो हमने particularity पे लगाया था, वो inherence पे. If you need, हो गया? पक्का? फिर भी सुन लो. If Dravya needs inherence to be linked to quality, then to link this Dravya and inherence, you will need another inherence. To link this inherence and this inherence, you will need another inherence. And how long can it go? So this means if you need inherence to link Dravya with quality, if you need inherence to link part with the whole, then you will need inherence till infinity. Third element, जैसे ही third element आएगा, infinity तक बात जाएगी ही जाएगी. Next, if Samvaya is not different from two substances related by inherence, then if it is found in the first term, then it cannot be related with the second. Further, Samvaya cannot be divided. Hence, Samvaya is impossible. ये पता नहीं कैसे लिखा है, but simple बात ये कहना चाह रहे हैं. भाई ये एक चीज है, ठीक है, और ये एक चीज है. This is Dravya and this is quality or gun. ठीक है. Now they are saying whether inherence is found in Dravya. If it is found in Dravya, then how can it relate itself to quality? If it is in quality, then how can it relate itself to Dravya? If it is found in both, then inherence become divided. कुछ part द्रव्य में है, कुछ part substance में, quality में है. But inherence as a ultimate reality or padarth is indivisible. Can you divide? No, it is an indivisible, inseparable relation. So therefore, you cannot divide inherence. Basically, Shankaracharya क्या prove करना चाहते हैं? वो prove करना चाहते हैं कि inherence as a concept is impossible. समझ में आई बात? पक्का समझ में आ गई? समझ में आ गई? Everyone? So inherence, if inherence has been accepted as a reality, that inherence is something which is real, then it must be somewhere. If it is in Dravya, then how can it relate itself to गुण? और अगर गुण में है तो द्रव्य में नहीं हो सकती, और अगर दोनों में है तो वो डिवाइड हो जाएगी कि इतना पार्ट इनहेरेंस का गुण में है, इतना पार्ट द्रव्य में, लेकिन वो डिवाइड हो जाएगी फिर. बट इट हैज बीन एक्सेप्टेड एज अ रियल ना. शंकराचार्य ऐसे ही करते हैं. शंकराचार्य के आगे अगर किसी ने बोल दिया रियल, तो वो रियल. Shankaracharya is a very smart person, but definitely he has he's a very shrewd person also, in the sense that wherever and howsoever he could criticize the other philosophies, he did it. Whether it is meaningful, logical, or illogical. If he has to criticize, he will. When we will read Shankaracharya, we will realize that many of his concepts are very much overlapping with Shunyavad. Shunyavad we read? Very much overlapping. But he was the worst criticizers, staunch criticizers of Shunyavad. You say, Hinyan Buddhism are the complete destroyers of world. Such kind of criticisms he will do. Okay. Then next is atomism of Vaisheshika is also defective, because if there is qualitative difference in atoms, then there should be differences in their weights and magnitudes. And then this difference should also be reflected in world. Likh lo chaho to. You choose and select the criticisms you will want to write in your answer, because there are so many criticisms. You will have to write specific criticisms according to the demand of question. Now Shankaracharya says, if atoms have smell, taste, touch as qualities, and they are accepted as eternal, now why can't then be souls to be accepted as eternal with quality of consciousness? उसको क्यों आप separate करना चाहते हो? When atoms can exist with qualities, let soul also exist with qualities. Why you have to make consciousness as an accidental quality? Why you have to make soul as quality less? If atoms can exist with qualities forever, similarly souls can also exist with qualities forever. Okay? Criticism है, बुराई ऐसी होती है. If consciousness is the accidental property of soul, which is separated in liberation, then soul becomes a mere object, which could be replaced by any atom. अब consciousness तो एकदम accidental quality है soul की, तो soul में और है क्या? It is even lower than atom, because atom has some quality. What is soul? Soul is a substance which is unconscious and inactive. और atomic? हाँ? हाँ, यही. Now God is having Sad Ishware, याद है? 6 qualities. This means God is eternally bound. तो भगवान तो हमेशा बंधन में है, तो वो तो liberated soul से भी नीचे हो गए. Isn't it? Because if qualities means bondage, then God is in bondage. पढ़ लो अगला. ये हम कर चुके हैं. बोलो. Bhakti has no place. हाँ? क्या किस चीज में? This conception of God is not conducive to religious people because bhakti has no place in this system, as God cannot benefit or harm anybody and is closed to the law of karma. Basically, God can only work according to the law of karma. Can God change the karma? Can God bless you with something which you don't have according to your karma? No. Can God help you in a trouble which is there according to your karma? No. तो लोग भक्ति क्यों करेंगे भगवान की? सो भक्ति की कोई प्लेस है न्याय के स्कूल में? नहीं. और गॉड कैसा है? बाउंडेड है ना. गॉड की दशा तो बहुत ही खराब कर दी इन्होंने. देखो इनके इनके गॉड का सबसे पहले, गॉड इज नॉट द जनरेटर. व्हाई ही इज नॉट द जनरेटर? Because atoms, souls, manas, space, ether, all of these are eternal. They are always and always there. Can God destroy them? No. Has God created them? No. So this means material cause has always been there. है ना? Then is he the operator? No. World operates on the basis of Adrasht, which is the law of karma. God only provides, only and only thing that God provides is dynamism or motion. और असलियत में तो वैसे मोशन भी अपने आप में एक कैटेगरी है हमारी, ठीक है, बट फिर भी मान लेते हैं, चलो थोड़ा सा मोशन भगवान ने दिया भी. कैन गॉड चेंज दिस अदृष्ट? नो. कैन गॉड अफेक्ट दिस? नो. व्हाट कैन ही डू इन जगत? उनका काम है बस डायनामिज्म दो, डायनामिज्म वापस ले लो, डायनामिज्म दो, डायनामिज्म वापस ले लो. एक बार उनका काम आता है, स्विच दबाओ, वर्ल्ड गेट्स क्रिएटेड, स्विच बंद करो, वर्ल्ड डिस्ट्रॉयड. ओवरऑल ड्यूटी ऑफ गॉड इज दिस, एंड ही इज इटर्नली बाउंड because bondage means with qualities and God has been accepted to be with qualities. So they have made God as completely bound, which can never attain liberation. So the concept of God is highly unsatisfactory in Nyaya school. And how is the concept of liberation? Liberation और बुरा है. So liberation means right knowledge, separation from body and mind and even consciousness. तो बॉडी भी चली गई, इमेजिन करो, बॉडी भी चली गई, माइंड भी चला गया. माइंड मीन्स ऑल थॉट्स, ड्रीम्स, एवरीथिंग. सेंस ऑर्गन भी चले गए और कॉन्शियसनेस भी चली गई. क्या बचा? ऑडिबल? क्या हुआ? ओके फाइन. आई डिडंट टीच एनीथिंग, डोंट वरी. ठीक है, तो कहां पर थे हम लोग? नेगेटिव लिबरेशन. है ना, understandable. Read the next one. Read the next point. तो क्रिटिसिज्म देखो, बड़ा बड़ा अच्छा पोएटिक क्रिटिसिज्म किया है लोगों ने ना इसका. So Vaishnavis say, the Vaishnav philosophy, they say that it is better to be born as a jackal in the lovely forest of Vrindavan than to desire the liberation by Vaisheshika. है ना, बात सही भी. Then Shankaracharya says Vaisheshika is the semi-destroyer of this world, while Hinayana Buddhism is the. Shri Harsh, another philosopher, he condemns Vaisheshika philosophy as owlish philosophy. उल्लुओं की philosophy. Owlish, उल्लू. ठीक है. This is the cultural difference that we have. नहीं नहीं नहीं, बिल्कुल पैक मत करो, आज ये खत्म होगा. जरा सा क्रिएशनिज्म बचा है, एटमिस्टिक थ्योरी 10 मिनट में हो जाएगी. तो तुम्हें क्या काम है? हाँ, खाना बनाना है. इसकी शक्ल देख के लगता है खाना बनाता होगा. ये तो ऐसे ना जैसे नेशनल पॉलिसी बनाने जा रहा है अगली. एकदम बैठ रहो चुपचाप. हाँ, सब दिखावा और ढकोसला है. हाँ, अभी चाय की टपरी पे मिलेगा लड़का थोड़ी देर बाद. ओके, वेरी सिंपल. थ्योरी ऑफ क्रिएशन एंड व्हाई आउलिश बिकॉज अरे किसी की बुराई करते हैं तो कहते हैं ना उल्लू वाली बातें कर रहा है. तो दैट इज व्हाई. सो दे हैव सेड कि इट इज द थ्योरी फॉर स्टूपिड पीपल, something like this. So atomistic theory, who gave atoms? They talked about atoms and that the world is created out of atoms. Very simple, nothing very rocket sciencey about it. पहली चीज जो इन्होंने बात करी है, फर्स्ट लाइन, नित्य परमाणु कारणवाद. नित्य परमाणु कारणवाद. नित्य means eternal, परमाणु means atom, karanvad means cause. Eternal atoms are the cause of the world. Simple. Eternal atoms are the cause of world. So world is created by eternal atoms. Nobody created it. Nobody can destroy it. Something which is very similar to science. In the science, can you create energy? Can you destroy energy? It can only be transformed from one form to another. E is equal to mc square. Matter is equal to energy. Okay. Atomistic theory of creation applies and explains the non-eternal part. अब ये जो एटम थे, स्पेस, टाइम, ईथर, मनस, सोल, ये तो कोई क्रिएट नहीं कर सकता. तो इन पे एटोमिस्टिक थ्योरी अप्लाई होगी क्या? एटोमिस्टिक थ्योरी मतलब क्रिएशन की थ्योरी अप्लाई होगी क्या? तो क्रिएशन किस पे अप्लाई होगा? सिर्फ जो नॉन इटर्नल है. नॉन इटर्नल मतलब हम पे, तुम पे, टेबल पे, चेयर पे, वॉल पे, माउंटेन पे, रिवर पे, कंपाउंड्स पे. ओनली दिस theory of creation will be applied to compounds. So basically the atoms are there. Atoms come together, join each other to form compounds. Things get created. When these joints are separated, things destroy and get back to atom. तो बहुत ही सिंपल है. इसको हम एक बार पढ़ भी लेंगे, बट सिंपल. भगवान, उनका काम क्या था? मैंने बताया था, स्विच दबाना. सॉरी भगवान. ओके. So God, he gives the will to create the world. So with this will, the atoms starts to have commotions. Atoms तो हमेशा से थे. Atom starts to have commotion. first air particle, because lighter, they start to move fast. Then other atoms, and last will be earth. And with all the movement of atoms, these atoms starts to join with each other. तो join करने के बाद क्या बना पहले? Dyad. Dyad means 2 atom. Then triad means 3 atoms. And there is then exponential geometric rise. Geometric, जो डायड ट्रायड्स हैं, अब ये ज्योमेट्रिकली बढ़ने चालू हो जाएंगे. 1 से 2, 2 से 4, 4 से 8, इस तरीके से ज्योमेट्रिकल प्रोग्रेशन में बढ़ते जाएंगे. एंड आफ्टर दिस, व्हेन द कंडीशंस आर फुलफिल्ड, अभी से उससे साइंस के एक्सप्लेनेशन से कंपेयर करते रहना. When the conditions are fit, then God will animate the Jagat with Brahm. What is Brahm? Brahm is the world soul. World soul is what? So basically, life on earth has been introduced. It has been introduced as a, in all the things, no, as a small embryo. As a small embryo, the life is introduced on world or universe, and this embryo starts to surround itself with these atoms and create what? Jivas are created, and now these jivas, and beginningless ignorance पहले ही बता दिया था, कोई beginning तो है नहीं. So these jivas undergo life and birth and death. और birth and death कब तक चलता रहेगा? Till the time. So basically, huh? So basically, the birth and death will keep going on. So accumulation of more karmas, Adrashta will give consequences, new birth, and this will keep going on. But just as God gives us sleep or night time after daytime to rest, after the day's work, God gives us a time to rest. Similarly, there will be time after which a lot of strain will be created in the world itself. Jagat ke andar bahut zyada stress, strain create ho jayega. And at that point, God will give souls time to rest before, but Adrashta will not dissolve. वो वैसा का वैसा रहेगा. Adrashta बना रहेगा. And now with this, भगवान ने will दी थी, वापस खींच ली. स्विच बंद कर दिया, will वापस ले ली. जैसे ही will वापस ली तो क्या होगा? Destructive Adrashta will start. Basically, बुरे कर्म जल्दी जल्दी अपना फल देने लगेंगे, चीजें डिस्ट्रॉय होने लगेंगी, है ना? 2012 वाली मूवी देखिए सबने, समथिंग लाइक दिस. एंड विद दिस all the things will start to lose the conjunction. जो चीज उन्हें जोड़े हुए थी, एटम्स को जो जोड़े हुए था, वो जुड़ाव खत्म हो गया, तो क्या होगा? Destruction. Atoms will separate, and with this all the things will be destroyed, and atoms, soul will come to their natural separate stages. और फिर थोड़े दिन बाद रेस्ट वेस्ट करेंगे, फिर थोड़े दिन बाद भगवान का मन करेगा तो फिर से वो विल देंगे और ये वर्ल्ड क्रिएट हो जाएगा. सो इज द वर्ल्ड created or destroyed? No, it is actually basically cyclical in nature. लिबरेशन है, लिबरेशन बीच बीच में जा रहे हैं लोग, जो बीच बीच में लिबरेट होते जा रहे हैं वो बस सोल बनते जा रहे हैं. They will never come back to liberated souls will never come back to the cycle of birth and death. Once liberated, liberated for all time, because what has become zero? Adrashta. The karma balance has become zero. हाँ, तो अगली बार वही सेम सोल्स से अपने अपने अदृष्ट के अनुसार बॉडीज लेंगी एंड द वर्ल्ड विल स्टार्ट. ओके, क्विकली लेट अस रीड. Atomic theory of creation applies to and explains the non. कोई बात नहीं करेगा, बिल्कुल फोकस से बहुत तेजी से पढ़ेंगे. ओके. Atomistic theory of creation applies to and explains the non-eternal part of the world, which is subject to origin and destruction of composite objects. Composite object produced by the combination of atom in different proportions, and universe is destroyed by disjunction of atoms. तो क्रिएशन मतलब अलग अलग proportions में atoms का साथ में आना, and destruction means disjunction of atoms. These combinations do not pre-exist in the atoms. Therefore, Nyaya Vaisheshik believe in asatkaryavad or arambhavad. Is there any preconceived forms? No. This will happen according to the adrasht. Atoms के अंदर अपने आप में कुछ फिक्स्ड नहीं है, वो क्या बनेंगे? जैसा अदृष्ट मिलेगा वैसा बन जाएंगे. So, therefore, सांख्य believed in effect exists in cause. वो सत्कार्यवाद था. अब ये क्या है? असत्कार्यवाद. Effect does not contain in cause. What is cause? Atoms. What is effect? Depending on adrasht. According to Nyaya Vaisheshik, the basis of universe is diversity, and the fundamental, minutest, indivisible, partless, and eternal particle of matter is called Pramanu or atom. Atoms are imperceptible and can only be known through inference. Shape of atom is spherical and globular. क्या है shape? Sphere. Globular. 3-dimensional. Globular. शंकराचार्य ऐसे भी क्रिटिसाइज करेंगे कि ग्लोबुलर क्यों है. ओके. Atoms are passive and motionless. Can move only with the external force. कौन देगा external force? God. According to Nyaya Vaisheshik, atoms have both qualitative and quantitative differences. There are 4 different kinds of atom. बताया नहीं जा सकता था? लिखा तो हुआ है. पढ़ के नहीं आते हो. Air atoms are smallest and have 1 quality of touch. Fire atom has 2 quality, touch and color. Water atoms have touch, color and taste. Earth atom has touch, color, taste and smell. According to Nyaya Vaisheshik, qualities in atoms are eternal. Atom की जो qualities है वो हमेशा हमेशा उनके साथ रहती हैं. Note, eternal dravyas, 4 kinds of atoms, space, ether, time, manas and soul do not come under the purview of theory of creation and dissolution. ये तो हमें पता ही है. ठीक है? Atomic theory of Nyaya Vaisheshik is not materialistic like Greek atomism. एक और जगह atomism कहाँ पे हमने देखेंगे हम बाद में कभी. Greek, वहां पे भी atomism आता है. ल्यूसिपस वगैरह है, डेमोक्रिटस, ल्यूसिपस, वो हमारे सिलेबस के पार्ट नहीं है. लेकिन वो किस बारे में बात करते हैं? वो भी एटॉमिस्टिक थ्योरी पे बात करते हैं. अकॉर्डिंग टू देम आल्सो द वर्ल्ड इज क्रिएटेड बाय एटॉम्स. अकॉर्डिंग टू ग्रीक फिलोसोफर्स ल्यूसिपस एंड डेमोक्रिटस. इसमें लिखा है क्या? लिखा है? आगे लिखा है? ठीक है. और साइंटिफिक एटोमिज्म, बट इट इज अ स्पिरिचुअल थ्योरी बेस्ड ऑन टेलियोलॉजी, बेस्ड ऑन पर्पस. Nyaya Vaisheshik has accepted spiritual substance as soul and creation for a moral purpose to allow the source to experience souls, to allow souls to experience fruits of their karmas and work towards the highest aim of liberation. So ultimately, atomistic theory purposeless nahi hai Vaisheshika ki. There is a purpose that people should get things according to their own karmas. The karma theory is there, and ultimate aim is liberation, making your balance of your karma 0 and attaining liberation. Process of creation. Creation starts with the will of God, Maheshwar, who is the ruler of universe and supreme soul. The world, according to Nyaya Vaisheshik, is beginningless or anadi. As there are cycles of creation and destruction, in order to create, there is destruction of existing order of things. Therefore, the cycle goes on. God wills to create universe, and Adhrasht begins to function in the direction of creation. First to become active are air atoms, which form dyads and or Devanukas, and triads through geometrical progression, not arithmetic. This combination gives rise to gross physical element of air. तो air के atoms बढ़ते गए फिर क्या हो गया? जुड़ते गए elemental air बन गई. हमारे आसपास ये air इकट्ठी है ना, elemental, because of combination of air particles. After element of air is formed, atoms of water, then atoms of earth and fire combine to form elements of water, earth and fire. Fire means light. तो सारा फायर इकट्ठा हो गया, सन बन गया. अंदर भी है, मतलब अलग अलग जगह इकट्ठा हुआ, लेकिन yes. After this, by mere thought, God makes an embryo appear out of atoms, which he animates with Brahm or Brahma. That is the world soul. This world soul has wisdom, power and excellence to create this world in detail. अब भगवान जी चले गए, काम किसके ऊपर छोड़ दिया वर्ल्ड बनाने का? ब्रह्मा जी के ऊपर. ब्रह्मा ने बनाई है ना दुनिया माइथोलॉजी के हिसाब से. The world has been created by Brahma ji. Yes. So now Brahma ji, deputy, has been put there. Now Brahma ji, in minute details, creates things. यहाँ पे रोड बना दो, क्योंकि एक दिन एक आदमी जाएगा, ऐसा होगा, इस तरीके से. So everything has been created by him. But independently क्या? नहीं. According to Adhrasht. That is balancing good deeds with results and fruits, while bad deeds with bad fruits. During creations, atoms combine with each other to form composite things of this world, like mountains, rivers, table, chairs. Souls get attached to manas along with body, making up individual jivas. इंसान बन जाते हैं. टेबल चेयर के अंदर सोल नहीं है, बाकी जैसी सोल जो होता है वो अपने अंदर इंसान को कर लेता है by taking up atoms and manas. This creation works on the principle of physical laws as well as spiritual laws of karma. अब जो ये जगत बना, in this physical laws are equally valid as are spiritual laws. What are physical laws? Physical laws like gravity, electromagnetic force, buoyancy force, all of these are physical laws which are very much valid, and also spiritual laws like law of karma. Okay. After this, when this created world runs its course for many years, there develops strain and stress in the system. Just as God allows us night to take rest after trials and work of the day, similarly, God provides escape from suffering for some time when he withdraws his will from the world, which leads to बहुत दिन हो गए वर्ल्ड को चलते चलते, बहुत बदमाश हो गए लोग वापस. During destruction, destructive Adhrasht begins to operate. Brahma, the world soul, gives up his body, leading to disjunction in atoms and disintegration of combination. In simple terms, atom, souls, manas become isolated, and destruction starts with physical elements of earth, then water, then light, and lastly, earth. Oh, air. Lastly, air. After destruction comes a new cycle of creation using the same eternal dravyas and Adhrasht. Note, the combination of atom is not pre-existing, therefore, Satkaryavad. Dyads are imperceptible, while triads are the smallest perceptible material. सिर्फ जो तीन का group है ना, that is the smallest or minutest perceptible element. ठीक है, comparison. Very simple comparison, nothing very great about it. Yeah. Okay. So, first comparison is with the Greek atomism of Leucippus and Democritus. They have also accepted atoms to be indivisible, particles imperceptible, eternal, and making the physical world. लेकिन उनमें और हमारे वाले एटम्स में क्या अंतर है? हमारी थ्योरी में, वैशेषिक थ्योरी में और उनकी ग्रीक एटोमिज्म में क्या अंतर है? फर्स्ट, ग्रीक एटोमिज्म इज मैकेनिस्टिक, हमारा क्या है? स्पिरिचुअल. Even though we are talking about atoms, it still has the higher purpose. Purpose is of liberation. Second, according to Greek atomism, atoms are not different. They are similar. कोई qualitative difference नहीं है उनमें. But there are qualitative differences in Vaisheshika school. Then Greeks do not attribute secondary qualities to atoms. According to them, there is no qualities of sense, smell, touch. But Vaisheshikas have accepted such qualities in atoms. Greek atomism accept atom to be dynamic and with motion. But Vaisheshika atom is static because dynamism is been given by God. According to Greek, souls are composed of atoms, while Nyaya Vaisheshika accept souls and atoms as different realities. ग्रीक्स ने सोल एटम से ही बना दी थी, हमारे यहाँ सोल अलग है. बेटर नहीं है बट अलग है. So there was this atomism of Jains also. पढ़ लोगे ना? बुद्धिज्म भी पढ़ लोगे, उसमें कुछ खास है नहीं वैसे, है ना? पढ़ लेना, अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम हो तो पूछ लेना. इवन मॉडर्न साइंस. ये लास्ट का क्रिटिसिज्म काट दो और यहाँ पे लिख दो इवैल्यूएशन. इंपॉर्टेंस लिख दो. इंपॉर्टेंस, atomism is showing the scientific temperament of Vaisheshika. Many inferences made by Nyaya Vaisheshika in their atomistic theory of creation are closely linked, having close resemblance to scientific explanation of universe. Having close resemblance to scientific explanation of universe. Third, the conception of space and time as real is also close to science. Conception of space and time as real is accepted by many theories of science. Qualitative difference in atoms is also accepted by science, as in Vaisheshika. ठीक है? ओके. क्या था? So qualitative difference in atoms is also accepted by science. देखो 10 मिनट में खत्म किया ही नहीं है ना? 15 हो गए होंगे. 24. अरे एक ही बात. Of course. नहीं. How is rest equal to destroying them? No, it's not destroying in the sense कि खत्म नहीं हो जाएंगे, but composites टूट जाएंगे, है ना? ऑनलाइन पीपल प्लीज, जिसने ये लिख लिए हो आखिरी के पॉइंट्स, वो फोटो क्लिक करके प्लीज ग्रुप पे डाल देना. ऑनलाइन बच्चे कुछ लिख नहीं पाए हैं. हाँ हाँ, अभी डाल दो। गुड, बाय बाय।